Welcome to the Kent Lapp Podcast.
It just seems like it's such in a state of turmoil.
Yes.
So I'm curious, you have some experience and some years and you've seen a lot. Have you seen things like they are now? And then the follow-up question is, how do we get the peace of God settled deep into our hearts when there's all this going on? Because we feel the need to speak up and do some things, and then we have a brother or sister that has a different viewpoint, and next thing you know, we're getting maybe frustrated and almost argumentative. We need the peace of God into our hearts. Mm. Have you seen the world in this state before?
Never. Now, I was born in 1950. I lived through 1968, the riots then. I was 18, not entered into it wholeheartedly, but as a young adult, I was very interested in it and drawn in somewhat, but not to this depth, not the extended violence and anger, the lack of ability to somehow meet together, the confusion of mourning and grieving the innocent murders. The murder, I should say, the murders of innocent men and women. We grieve that, but then there's that conflict in our heart because the results, the protests, when they turn violent, we don't want to approve of them, but we do approve of what's the passion behind them.
That's right.
So there's so much conflict, and it's extended for so long, Kent, days, not just a week, but it's going into its second week soon, and I've never seen anything like this. How do we find the peace of God? How do we go there and stay there? Oh, well, it's up to each individual and her or his own relationship with the Lord. But I think of Psalm 62:1. It's my life verse. Yeah. My soul finds rest in God alone. So that my soul does not find rest in a political party winning. My soul does not find rest in my finding the right group to support and be surrounded by. My soul, although, those things are good, they're not necessarily evil, but when I'm looking to them for rest, I have nothing to give them when they fail me. Yeah. But when God is my rest, when my soul really sinks deeply into Him, and I find my rest in Him alone, then I have something to give. It's called the hope and grace of Jesus Christ into anything. Yeah.
Well, how do you deal with almost this inherent need then to pass that peace to others? And a lot of times it kind of turns into passing our opinion to others. In other words, what I'm getting at is there's all this contention in the world. And then if we can actually get the peace of God settled deep into our hearts, that's great for us. But then we're also called to help our brothers and sisters and to sort of spread that peace. And it's at that point that it seems to get contentious, right? Because we think we're trying to spread the peace of God or our thoughts, but then those thoughts other people can have different thoughts. And then next thing you know, we're kind of back in this contention point again. I guess we sort of feel like we have the personal responsibility to let everyone know, what we think, I guess. So maybe the question is, okay, if we can work at getting that peace into our hearts, like what then? Just kind of,
what does it mean?
Yeah. What does it mean, or how can we share that with others?
I have to be really careful because I'm very chatty. I love to hear my opinion spread forth. I'd love to hear myself talk. I'm really ashamed to say it. But I have been trying lately to wait until I'm asked. I'm trying to listen more because as a white woman, I have a lot of privilege, Kent. And I don't, indeed, I would say I can't really understand what my African American brothers and sisters are going through. So I'm trying to listen more. For instance, a white friend, female friend, and I have joined with two of our African American friends. We're all believers on a chat app. And we're laying out articles, questions. What are our goals during this season? We've given each other permission to speak into each other's lives. We have the freedom to offer opinion. That has helped me to not think of the large crowds, but get it down one-on-one where you can have an honest exchange of ideas. But underneath that, if I might say this, Kent, before I start sharing my opinions, I would hope that I've spent time in the Word so that it's not just my opinion, but that there's wisdom and discernment, insight from God above. That's the only thing that'll really help. It's the only thing that will really last. Who cares what Jani Ortlund thinks? I mean, I've had some experiences that people might be able to learn from. Hopefully I have. But ultimately, it's the Word of God that proves true. He is the one who's brought us into this experience. He's the one who's going to lead us through it.